I'm Joe Potter. Welcome to the Underground. It's been a while since I've done anything on the Jaguar XJ Coupe project, so I thought I would catch you up on what we're doing with it. So a lot going on with the rear suspension, and the reasons are issues with suspension and exhaust, and now brakes. So the car is going to have more power. I think we're going to be pushing about 415 horse and over 400 torque, which is quite a bit more than stock. So these are a system from a company in the UK, and I think it's pronounced Fosway. Rear brakes and front brakes. So in the rears now, these are 4-pot calipers, and with vented rotors, which is the stock ones are not. And in the fronts, 6-pot calipers and bigger rotors as well. So significantly more braking capability. On the rears also, this cool little handbrake system, which is completely independent of the caliper, and a automated a linear actuator driven control of the parking brake or hand brake, so it can be electronically controlled through the PDU. So really cool high-end braking system with a lot more performance that I always like to keep cars balanced, that if you increase the power, you have to increase the braking, you have to increase the capability of the chassis, and we're doing certainly all three of those with this build. So on to this wheel, and I've shown these wheels before, and these were drawn in 3D to mimic a Campagnolo rim out of the 60s, 50s and 60s for Fiats, and we've upscaled it. So this is a 17-inch rim with a Jag bolt pattern. So these are 8 inches wide, 17 inches in diameter. So it's a lot more rim and what will be a lot more tire under the car. Key to it was that these large calipers and rotors fit inside the rim. So that was one of the motivations of the larger rim, other than the look. I didn't want to go much beyond this because I didn't want the wheels to be out of proportion to the car. I didn't want a big 20-inch rim in there. I wanted something that looked proportional. So all this has to fit together. On to suspension. The car is going to be airbagged, and there's a lot of motivations for that. One, obviously I just want to manipulate the ride height, but airbag systems are a lot more advanced now than they used to be, and there's a ride characteristic that I'm looking for as well. So these I bought from a supplier in the UK specifically for XJ cars. These bags, there's a problem with these bags in that it gets really tight in there with the exhaust. And the biggest problem is that when we set our ride height, these bags are at 0. They're completely deflated. So now we're looking at modifying the whole Jaguar suspension to accommodate all these components. And it's just going to be better. We're just going to design and build our own rear suspension. Luckily, we have already got a good chunk of that built because we're doing our EV, our electric vehicle conversions on E-types, and we have that whole structure to carry the electric motor. So I have all the uprights and all that designed for a tubular suspension. We just took it create it for an original Jag rear end. So that's kind of the next big push, is to get that suspension and cage built for the rear end, which will accommodate the airbag suspension, and it will accommodate then moving the exhaust through it in a really clean way that gives us gap between the airbag and the exhaust system. The other element I'm working on is the dash. This dash design is unique to this car. It is in no way stock or representing of a stock XJ Coupe at all. The concept here was that we draw this thing in 3D CAD. Once I was happy with that, we had these machined. We found a company down in Hollywood, California, that has a 5-axis machine, and from our 3D design CAD files, they machine polystyrene into these plugs or molds. The problem with polystyrene is it's fragile, one, but two, it's pretty reactive, and so I can't lay up fiberglass on it because the polyester resin will eat the styrene. So it has to be sealed, and that's why this is gray. This is a special coating to seal the polystyrene so we can lay up fiberglass on it and it won't destroy it. So next step with this, now that we have these sealed, will be to do a fiberglass layup on these, and that'll create a negative mold. From that, we'll prep it and gel coat it, and then we'll do a final layup for the positive out of that. So this will all be covered in leather anyway, or different materials. So I don't have to worry, as acutely as you might about getting an absolute perfect surface like for a carbon layup. If we did want that, we'd have to do body work on this to smooth it. So that's what's next. We'll get through that, we'll get the car back here, and then we'll start finally start the build. I think that's caught everything up. Please do like and subscribe. We do appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one.